I'm doing too much over here. I'm doing too much.
I was like, what was that?
That was our intro, but I completely forgot to put us up on the screen.
I saw the back of somebody. I'm like, what?
I was trying something new. I was going to have fog covering my thing, and I was going to come out and go boo, but I completely forgot to put us up on the screen.
Well, boo.
Boo. Oh man. Oh, that's okay. Nobody saw it anyway. We were the first ones in here.
Y'all gotta go back and watch the replay.
Me messing things up per usual. All right. Well, boo, and welcome in everybody. Murder Mystery, Haunted History. I'm BB3, and this is Nettie with MelNetteLivingFreeZipCodeless. At the top of the chat on both Nettie's side and my side, you will see a link. It would be awesome if you guys could click that, run over to the other stream, hit the like, make a little comment, and then come on back to your original person you were watching.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
this kind of helps the interaction between both channels because we're streaming to both channels currently right now.
Yep.
All right. Let me welcome everybody in real quick, and then we are going to do a recap on the Dylan Rounds case.
Yeah.
We have Catherine Cook, Shanna Craft,
Shanna,
Jen Joy, Jen Joy. Step Van Dan, hello and welcome. Driving but listening. Okay, you don't do all the clickies. You just listen. You be safe.
Yeah.
Chrissy Mama. Hello, our beautiful friend. Shannon, hello. Welcome in. Glad to have you over here. Ringo Czar. Oh, look at those puppies.
Isn't that adorable?
So cute. All right. I can't believe I forgot to put us on the screen.
Well, what startled me is I saw the back of someone, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Did she change the intro? I didn't know what was happening.
So our thing that's playing on the screen now, it just stays on the screen. So I ran the intro, but didn't put us up here. So it just like...
Oh, so it was what was in here.
Yeah, it just was this video that was playing in the background. There's for anyone that's never ran the program that we're doing this from, there's about 6 things you're doing at the same time at all times. You're kind of doing 6 different things. So I tried to add an extra one in, and it didn't work out so well.
Didn't work.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
So this case, just I did put it in the chat. I want to welcome everyone in and also give you a heads up. This is a extremely sad case.
It is.
It holds a special place in Nettie and mine's heart. This was a 19-year-old, incredible human. This boy was going places. And so to have his life cut so short is incredibly sad. So just a warning, this is going to be a pretty emotional one. So if you're not in the right state of mind right now for something like that, we understand. But hello, Tucker.
Hello, and I want to thank Chrissy Mama for sharing us out. Thank you, Chrissy.
Yes, thank you so much. Step Van Dan has followed this from the beginning and very sad. Yes, very. Yes. Nettie and I have been with this one from the beginning too. And oh man. All right. This is Dylan Rounds. We're going to do a case update.
Yep.
I'll let you start, Nettie.
Okay. James Brenner, age 60, pleaded guilty to second-degree felony murder in the death of 19-year-old Dylan Rounds on May 15th, and 2 counts of possession of a firearm by a restricted person.
Welcome in, Okie dokie, and Ashley. One of the days. Not a day. I was talking fine until we went live. This is James Brenner, correct?
Yeah, correct.
During Wednesday's preliminary hearing, it was also revealed for the first time that Rounds died from a gunshot wound to the head.
When I read that, I was devastated. Obviously, I felt that something did happen to him tragically, but to picture that, it kind of took me off guard, that hit me.
Well, knowing that and knowing that Dylan had, so I when we do these, when Nettie puts the story together, I don't watch it. I'm as surprised as you guys are to get the same updates as you, and we react as we go through it. So I don't know if you've covered this in here or not, but his phone, Dylan's phone, was found, and it was in the water. Obviously, James
Mm-hmm.
Brenner tried to get rid of it, but Dylan had recorded the last minutes of his life. And
Yeah.
so if you add that together with the gunshot, I mean, how terrified this kid must have been there at
Mm-hmm.
the end. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
But he knew what was coming. That's why he was recording, which again makes it all the more terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the hat we need to pay attention to? I can't remember.
I want to say it is. It looks similar. I want to say it is. Rounds was 19 years old when he went missing in 2022. He was last seen over Memorial Day weekend in Monticello, Nevada, 30 miles west of his home in the small town of Lucian, Utah. His family said he moved there from Idaho to start his own farm. So it's kind of ironic that it was 2 years to the day, basically, when they found him. He's such a happy kid.
Such a baby, such a
Yeah.
little guy.
Yeah.
Just so, On Saturday, May 28th, 2022, Dylan spoke with his grandmother on the phone from the farm. That was the last time anyone heard from him. By Monday, May 30th, Candace reported her son missing. Candace is his mama, I believe.
Yes.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, they all raised him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he lived with his grandparents. They lived on a farm, and then mom and dad had their own set of issues, but they loved him very much, and they raised him as well.
Looks like a happy mom too. Look, she's so proud of him.
Mm-hmm. That's a newer picture. Well, like one that we haven't seen as much.
On July 7th, 2022, the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office announced that then 58-year-old James Brenner was considered a suspect in Dylan's disappearance.
Step Dan Van said, I feel completely the sheriff's department locally dropped the ball. That's why it took so very long to find the young man. I think, as much as I want to say yes, I agree. I also think that sometimes we don't know what obstacles they're facing in the background, and sometimes they have to make sure that they lock everything super well before they present it, because otherwise the person can get away. I mean, the most famous case of that is O.J. Simpson. They jumped pretty quickly to try to get a guilty verdict on him, and he was able to walk away. So I think now, more often than not, police departments err on the side of we need everything we possibly can. And sometimes to everyone else, it can look like they're not doing everything they can. But also, small town police departments do drop the ball too. So
I was just going to say that with it being a small town, they never faced anything like this. So I think they were kind of like taken back by that. I don't know if they had all the equipment, with being a small town, but
I think it's a mix of both. It's a mix of both. Sometimes you're going to have them drop on the ball, and sometimes you're not going to know what they're doing in the background. But also keep in mind, small town, it's going to be a harder case for them. It's
Yeah.
not like, if it was done in New York, they'd probably have all the equipment.
Yeah. Big town, cities, so forth. That's the hat.
There's the hat.
Yeah.
So anyone that doesn't know, this hat that James Brenner is wearing in this photo is a hat that Dylan was seen wearing all the time. And this photo of James Brenner was taken after Dylan passed.
And see, that's where it's kind of hard for me, because when I found out how he died, that's the first thing I thought of was this hat.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know, I just felt that Dylan was wearing it. Obviously, if James has it, so my mind starts to go, and I start thinking, okay, was there altercation where he was fighting with him, pulled off his hat, and then ended up shooting him because he's wearing that hat? I wouldn't think if there was anything on that hat as evidence that he would be wearing it,
Yeah. He didn't seem like such a bright man anyway to begin.
Yeah.
James Brenner.
We got Paul and Megan from Dreaming Out Loud RVing. Thank you for coming in.
Well said. Probably a bit of both. This is such a sad, scary story. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also such a vast area that they were trying to find and locate Dylan in. Like it was in Utah, but it's kind of like the desert, like just
it was rural,
open dirt, rural area. It wasn't like typical farmland either. So.
According to June 2022 court documents, Brenner was squatting in a trailer located a few miles away from Dylan's property. Dylan's mother, Candace, told NBC affiliate KSL in July of 2022 that at one point, Brenner lived on Dylan's property, where he helped him bale hay, and she said that she didn't know Brenner real well, but never had any reasons for alarm. Yeah, look how rural it is. It's just destitute,
Yeah, this is what I was trying to explain, because
Yeah.
I touched on this a little bit over on TikTok to give kind of an update, and I was trying to explain this doesn't look like typical farmland. This isn't the type of land that you're typically going to grow crops on. But Dylan had enough experience as a farmer with his grandpa, and he wanted to kind of grow as a farmer. So he knew he could farm this land, and he spent, he was just getting ready to have his first actual real crops when this happened.
He was so excited. He was proving people wrong because they thought he couldn't, especially in that kind of terrain.
Yeah, nobody thought he would be able to get it going. His grandpa believed in him. His grandma believed in him. His mom and dad believed in him. And he had Brenner helping him. But yeah, he could get this property for cheap and grow it, and then move on to bigger and better things was his goal. And that is such a smart way to go. And his grandparents believed in him enough. They invested in this property for him. But when you look at this, you don't think this is when you're going to grow crops here. But this young kid was able to do it. That's another big reason I say this is so tragic, is because how many 19-year-olds do you know that are out there farming their own hard to farm land and turning it into something they can profit from? Just, you don't see that. That's hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Brenner had a criminal history. As detailed in the June 2022 court documents, on May 21st, 2012, he was sentenced to 33 months in prison after having been convicted of being a felon in possession of a firearm, the documents state. So he was already a felon. He was out. He got himself a firearm and got arrested again for having a firearm.
Yeah. And on June 20th, 2022, 1 month after Dylan's disappearance, a friend and neighbor of Brenner's was interviewed by law enforcement. The document stated that the neighbor told officials that Brenner brought 3 black power guns over to his residence and asked him to safekeep them. Diane Phoenix, thank you for coming in. I can't hear you, BB.
I didn't say anything yet. I was being quiet.
That's right.
I was being quiet. Yeah, here he is with the hat again.
Yeah.
He just wore this hat around like, nobody's business.
Yeah.
Now, it's never been confirmed. Let's just say it's never been confirmed that was Dylan's hat, but it's very strange that he's wearing a hat just like Dylan's after Dylan passed. It's too much.
And I don't know if it was ever confirmed if they had possession of that hat,
Yeah.
Did they find that?
I've never seen it confirmed anywhere, but it's been speculated largely. Just want to be clear about that. When the neighbor asked why, Brenner allegedly stated that he needed to do this for his own safety, and that the last time he had trouble with the law, they took everything from him, and he did not want the things he had left to be taken again. Brenner also allegedly brought the neighbor a .22 caliber rifle.
It's like, here you go. You can have this if you hide these for me.
Here, hold all of the evidence. Can you do that for me?
Put your fingerprints on it. A few days later, Brenner was charged with 3 counts of felony use of a firearm by a restricted person. And just last week, on March 3rd, Brenner was charged with criminal homicide, aggravated murder, and abuse or desecration of a human body in the Dylan Brown case. The probable cause statement lays out the evidence against Brenner.
This right here, even if it's not his hat, it feels pretty disrespectful and even cold to wear a similar hat. That, right? 100% agree.
Yeah.
It states that during the search for Dylan, deputies discovered a pair of boots belonging to Dylan nearby. We're going to talk more about those boots in just a second. One boot had a blood stain that DNA analysis confirmed belonged to the victim, in addition to DNA belonging to Brenner. It goes on to say that Dylan's phone records also show movement on the day of his disappearance in the same area that Brenner was squatting. So let's talk about these boots, because those are what immediately, when the mom found the boots, when the family found the boots, immediately the mom knew her son wasn't here anymore, which that's heartbreaking. But from the time Dylan was very young, he had a specific type of boot, brand of boot, and he always had one pair of these boots. When he grew out of them, or when they became too worn and he had to get a new pair, he gave his mom his boots and she put them on the mantle. So she had a pair of his boots from the time he was itty bitty until he was 19, lined up across the mantle. So when they went to the property to look for Dylan because they couldn't get a hold of him, his boots were a couple hundred yards away behind a dirt pile, sitting there with blood on them. And that was the moment for the mom where she knew this wasn't good.
Yeah, something tragic happened to him. Yeah.
And that's heartbreaking. And she's said that from the very beginning, when the interviews started happening. She said his boots are there. We need to find him. And she just knew. And that is, as a mom, as a human, I think that just grabs your heartstrings.
Yeah.
That always made my heart, right? Heartbreaking.
I think that's why she fought so hard, because you saw her everywhere. She was doing her own investigation. She was trying so hard as a mom to find him, find out what happened to her son.
I'll never forget one interview she did. She did it in the outbuilding. Okay, so
Yes.
you remember that
Yes.
one? So
Yes.
there's an outbuilding that was on the neighbor's property, and Brenner was like squatting over there. The neighbor allowed it because he
Hmm.
kind of kept an eye on the property, was what the neighbor thought. And when Dylan and Brenner stopped getting along for whatever reason and they stopped working together, Brenner moved his over to where that outbuilding was. Now, Dylan still parked his grain truck in that
Hmm.
outbuilding to avoid his grain getting rained on. And the mom and dad did an interview from inside that building, sitting in chairs. And they said, in their heart of hearts, they believed that Brenner and Dylan came to see each other inside that building and got in an argument, a tussle,
Yeah.
and Brenner ended Dylan's life. And they were sitting in there, and I remember just thinking, I wonder if they find comfort being in there
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kind of being where they believe their son was last.
And
Uh,
I think it was still during that interview when they were inside there that they were talking about when they were on the property and law enforcement were around and Brenner was there as well. They must have been close to Dylan's property because they weren't, in that grain shed or that outbuilding, and they saw him go in there. Do you remember this, BB, where he went in there
mhm,
and he removed 3 bags, black trash bags, and
mhm.
the police they didn't do
Didn't do
anything
anything.
because I don't know if they really thought he was, involved at that time, but
I
saw
think
him load it up and remove 3 bags. So they were thinking, what are in those bags? You're removing stuff out of there that nobody knows what's inside there. So
I
that
think
was
the
just,
reason the
yeah.
police didn't do anything at that time was because they didn't have the search warrants that they needed to do
Hmm.
what they needed to
Oh,
do, and again,
yeah,
because they were such a small police force and they were so far away,
yeah,
it was a whole thing. I think I remember exactly what you're talking about, and the
yeah,
parents talked about the search warrants were hard. Hey,
yeah.
JBK, um, Candace has been so amazingly strong through all of this.
Hmm.
She really has.
Hmm.
Yes, that blew my
Yeah.
mind. Mhm. And welcome in, JBK.
Thank you for coming in.
And you are right about that being close to Dylan's property. So where Dylan kept his camper on his property, there was kind of like
Hmm.
a fence line, and through that fence line and that gate was then the outbuilding, and
Right.
Stayed kind of right next to that outbuilding, and
Hmm.
it was all in that picture you showed earlier, it was all
Uh-huh.
in that
And that
little
little,
circle right there. So, yeah,
yeah,
it was really close.
yeah. Okay, here's more.
So this is the dirt pile where the boots were found, and then James Brenner's camper was right here. So you can see how close the boots and the camp. Also, not the brightest criminal in the books
Hmm.
here. He's hiding the bloody boots just a couple hundred yards from his camper.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on now.
Deputies were also able to locate Dylan's phone, according to the probable cause statement. Dylan's phone last pinged at Lucian's Pond in Utah, and a search of the pond led off officials, to discover his phone. And that was big news when they finally found his phone. They were hoping to find him nearby.
In the statement, officials said a digital forensic download of the phone was conducted and led to the discovery of a time lapse video with a timestamp taken at the time of Dylan's disappearance. The video showed Brenner with bloodstains on his arms and shirt as he was cleaning a gun. The shirt Brenner was wearing in the video was analyzed and Dylan's DNA was found on it. Also, if you remember just a couple slides back, we heard very briefly that Brenner's location on his phone and Dylan's phone location, they pinged at the same area at the same time. And not only that, but Brenner's phone kept pinging as if he kept going back by that lake area,
Yeah. Yeah.
which was all very suspicious. And then when they ended up finding the phone, Brenner must have thrown it, my guess, into the lake because he thought it would destroy the phone. And even if they found it, they wouldn't get this video or any evidence from it. But not the case. They were able to recover a lot from the phone.
Mm. Just over a month after Round's disappearance, law enforcement identified Brenner as a suspect. However, he was not charged in connection with the case initially. He was being held in the Weber County Jail on unrelated federal firearm charges. Nearly a year after his disappearance in 2023, James Brenner, age 60, was charged with the murder in connection to the case.
In April of 2024, family reported that Brenner led authorities to where Rounds was buried as part of a plea agreement. Officials said as part of the agreement, Brenner received a reduction from first-degree felony aggravated murder to second-degree felony murder. Which, do you know the difference in the two of them? Did you look into that?
No, I didn't because well, it talks a little bit more at the end, but no, I didn't look at the difference between the two.
Let's see really quick.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm just going to talk to Google. Hold on. What is the difference between first degree felony aggravated murder and second degree felony murder? Let's find out. Okay. No, I don't need you to read it. Second degree murder or second degree manslaughter is still a very serious crime, but it is a step down in severity when compared to first degree. In general terms, second degree murder is one that doesn't have any kind of premeditation and may only have been intended to cause harm rather than death. So I think that just takes it back to what the mom was saying in that garage to begin with, which she believed they just got in a fight. And then one thing led to another, because she kept saying she didn't think that Brenner set out to just show up and like kill her son.
Yeah.
She didn't think
like
that.
It was plotted or he was going to do anything to harm him. He was very bitter. You know, I do believe that because the fact he's 19 years old, he's got all this property, you know, he's working a farm. He wasn't doing well himself. Brenner wasn't. So I think there is jealousy involved, but I don't think it was premeditated either.
Yeah, and I think that's what the mom was pretty sure of, is that it wasn't premeditated. And if I had to make a deal with the devil, being James Brenner, in order to find out where my son's remains were, I would 100% be willing to take it from the first degree to the second degree to get that that info. And I wonder if that's why it took so long with him being held on different charges and not actual murder charges, because they were trying to work that deal. I wonder if that's why he was held so long.
Because I know that Candace was saying she just wanted Dylan home. You know, they wanted to find Dylan. And it's possibility, baby, on what you're saying. It's bittersweet, but I know that they're glad that he's at least home.
Yeah.
Diane Phoenix is saying that the charge reduction takes the death penalty off the table.
Yeah, and then changes it. And then the other thing would be premeditated or not.
Yeah.
I think this one's yours.
Okay. Additionally, the second charge, desecration of humans remains, was dismissed. An unrelated case of aggravation assault that had no relation to the Rounds case was also dismissed as part of the plea agreement. Sentences for each of the three charges will run consecutive, and prison time for Brenner is mandatory.
Oh, it runs consecutively, so it's going to run together for him?
Yeah.
He's already older, though. He ain't going to make it out. Sorry. I don't mean to sound mean, but he doesn't deserve to get
He
out.
doesn't just, yeah, I hope he doesn't make it out.
Only 1 to 15 is for murdering Dylan. The rest is gun charges, said Cooley. So, so only the charges 1 through 15 is for the murder of Dylan. The rest is the gun charges. So constituents of Utah, think about it and who you vote for. These laws are made by our legislation. And if you want them changed, this could be your kid, and it could be a man serving more time for having the guns than for murdering your child with them.
I can see where that would upset her. You
Oh,
know?
that
Yeah.
that would be infuriating that he was getting charges for the guns versus
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm. Yeah, his parents have remained steadfast in
Mm-hmm.
like, we're gonna get justice. We're gonna like have his name out there. Like
That's something the Round Cooley family hopes to change through their new nonprofit, Dylan's Legacy. The organization launched a few weeks ago and is meant to provide resources and support for families with missing loved ones.
I will say this too, about let's talk about the YouTube community as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
When this happened, the YouTube community came together and were like, what can we do? And not only did
Yeah.
like people start sharing his story on all the true crime channels, but there was adventure channels and guys that are qualified to fly helicopters and do like all kinds of stuff. They all jumped in. These guys with
Search
these big
parties.
channels. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
search parties came together.
Yeah.
And now granted they made videos on it and content on it and whatever, but that spread his story.
Mm-hmm.
But they came in and they were willing to help when like, because again it was a small town, they didn't have equipment to fly around and search and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So these YouTubers that came in and did that kind of stuff, I cannot remember the name of some of those channels, but there were
Yeah.
YouTubers that were coming in
Mm-hmm.
and doing a majority of these searches, and they were willing to come back time and time again to keep doing it. Oh, Dylan's Legacy, Justice for Dylan Rounds,
Mm-hmm.
Group Missing in America Network.
Now this is a Facebook
That's who it was.
Candace Cooley you put together.
It was Heavy D Sparks. There
Oh
you go.
yes.
I think I first heard about it on that chapter. Yeah, that chapter is an amazing channel.
Yeah.
So this is Candace Cooley's post.
Yeah, this is Dylan's Legacy that they formed on Facebook, and this is her post that she put out 2 days ago. When they found Dylan, and she said 2 years ago, today our family life was shattered with just a couple of phone calls. All of us asking the same thing: have you heard from Dylan? As we all rushed to Dylan's farm, we knew something was terribly wrong. Dylan never would leave his crop. Looking back through all we have had to go through, fighting to get help, evidence lost and dismissed, and so much more, I cannot help but think Dylan had a hand in giving us this challenge. Dylan was going to make one hell of a name for himself in the farming world. He was already well on his way at only 19 years old.
Unfortunately, his time was cut short. The challenges we have been through helped show the world what Dylan was capable of and how successful he would have been. So, in a way, he still accomplished his goal. We will continue to build a legacy for Dylan that he wanted to build himself through Dylan's legacy. Support, resources, awareness, and sometimes just a friendly voice that knows exactly what you're going through makes all the difference.
This is what we strive with Missing in America Network to provide. If you know of someone needing help with a missing loved one, please pass along our information and we will do everything we can help. And we have the it linked right in both of our about.
Yeah, if you go to the description of the
Yeah.
videos, you will find a link to these two things if you want to help in any way
or if you're needing help or know
if you
somebody.
need help.
Yeah.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
I love this image.
Isn't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm. Truly, truly beautiful. Brenner's sentencing was scheduled for July 1st at 1:30 p.m. So that's coming up next month.
Coming up. Mm-hmm.
There's the hat.
Yeah.
It is the same hat. So yeah, that's So I want to touch on Heavy D really quick since Diane shared who that was. So Heavy D has a channel that also, for many of you in the RV community, you might remember there was an older couple that had gone missing in their RV and they couldn't be located. And then Heavy D was also involved in that. He went in and got their RV out of the jam that it had gotten into. A lot of the time, Heavy D goes and gets cars, trucks, RVs, things out of places that most people can't get them out of, making, recovery of humans also at times due to some of the locations these things are found in. So, an incredible person and channel. If you guys have not checked out Heavy D's channel, Shaco.
I know.
No, Shaco. No, not that. Welcome in, Katie. Yeah, but he, definitely was one of the, and again, I think it was incredible. The police may not have had the resources, but almost within the first week of Dylan being missing, the community of people that pulled together to try to find answers and get movement and get the case out there was incredible. So with that being said, I think since his parents, Dylan's parents, were able to pull that community together that quickly, I think they're going to do amazing things with their foundation because, they were under stress and trying to find their child and all of that. And they pulled all of that together that quickly. Imagine what they can do now that they, are doing it in his honor. I think it'll be incredible.
Mm-hmm. And I want to see what's going to happen, in July at his hearing. I want to see what he's going to end up getting charged with.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I think he's old enough, though, that even if he gets 20 years or so, he'll probably be in there for a 20-year sentence would be a life sentence for him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's 60, right? I believe I said he was 60 now, 60 or 62, like that.
Yeah, Mike Hong from Profiling Evil did multiple ground searches for Dylan. Yeah, that's, that's the thing with the entire community really did come together back when this all Mike
Yeah.
King.
King.
Yeah, it's incredible what a group of people can do.
It's just amazing as far as, everybody came together to find him. But of course, Brenner is the one that ultimately led everybody to where Dylan was. But I wonder, they're probably not going to disclose it, but I wonder where did he put him? You know?
I think they'll disclose it eventually. It'll leak
Yeah.
out there. I think it will probably end up in the court documents,
Hmm.
unless they redact it. But I wouldn't think they would.
Yeah.
Most of that stuff has to be released publicly unless it involves a minor or like something that could possibly hurt down the line. So
Yeah.
you can usually get all of that information through court documents. Um, I as not smart as he was with the boots, I am
Yeah.
sure that it wasn't that far away or that but again, given that terrain, it was
Yeah.
all the colored dirt. There wasn't green grass and dirt and trees. It was just all dirt. And so I remember when the aerial searches were happening, you couldn't tell the difference between freshly dug dirt and dirt when they
Hmm.
were up in the sky trying to look.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I think it was just a combination of the terrain, the amount of area that they had to search that, they weren't going to be able to find
And
him.
probably weather too, because, you know, it seems like it rains pretty heavily there. And can you imagine with it being um, sand and dirt and that getting wet? Like you said, you can't tell the difference of anything that's fresh.
Also, like, I know just driving through Illinois,
Yeah.
it's pretty flat over there, and when the wind blows, it's a dust storm. You can't
Yeah.
see in a dust storm,
Yeah.
so I can't imagine the dust being blown around. That was one of the things I remember specifically them talking about was they were looking for a freshly dug area was
Hmm.
what they were keeping their eyes out for, but because of the storms, the dust, all of that, there was always an area that looked kind of freshly the
Yeah.
terrain was constantly changing basically because of all of the storms and weather and whatnot. So
Uh,
I'm glad that Brenner gave the location and the
mhm.
parents were able to bring their child home. Um, it doesn't change how tragic it was that this 19-year-old who had a huge future, successful future ahead of them, it sucks that it turned out this way.
Yeah. And like Candace says, she truly feels that Dylan had a hand in them finding what happened with that, with it being recorded on his phone.
Mhm.
That was what basically that was the deal breaker when I don't think he would have confessed, you know what I mean? Until they actually had footage of him cleaning the gun. And
Yeah.
I know the blood was on, Dylan's boots, his DNA and so forth. But that was just amazing that they were able to recover that.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it all worked out the way that it did. Sad that this was ever even a
Hmm.
situation.
Yeah.
Um, I will never forget the pain in that mama's eyes while she was
Mm.
begging
No.
for help
Yeah.
for people. So,
Yeah.
so I hope you
Heavy on the
all
heart. It's heavy on the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you all enjoyed learning a little bit
Hmm.
about Dylan and his story. And keep in mind, if anyone ever goes missing, they have resources to help. So you
Hmm.
can always pass that information along. And also just check out that link, see if there's anything you can do to help from time to time. You never know
Yeah.
if just sharing a missing person on your channel and somebody could know who that person is if you just share out the information. So sometimes it's as simple as just sharing info, and that helps in a huge way.
And I went there today to look to see if there's anything new that was posted. And there's people that are posting just a relationship that they had with them, and that was so made me feel better because they were showing the memories when he was, alive, and they went camping together. And so if you just want to check it out, I think it's a really good website that she put together on Facebook.
So, Candace was at CrimeCon. I don't know if y'all have heard of CrimeCon, but basically, creators, people with missing loved ones, people that have dealt with the crime world. It's a gathering. It's huge. I think it's amazing, but for me, it's overwhelming because they talk about so many different cases, so many different missing people, so much this, so much that. And for me, taking in all that much knowledge at one time
Yeah.
is overwhelming.
Like
But yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's okay. Go ahead.
Like I was telling BB, I told her after doing this, just putting this together, I was devastated. I was so emotional because with me, I can feel any kind of pain that when I think of what somebody went through. So when I realized, how he was taken, I was just so hard putting the story together because I could feel Candace's pain, and also with him losing out on a future that he should have had. So like BB saying, just all that information, it does get to you emotionally. It seriously does.
There's so many. Shaco's just being funny.
Yeah.
Shaco likes to bring us a few giggles while we know Shaco.
He's like, kidding.
He's like, Shaco likes to make us giggle when we get a little
trying to get us out so we can be happy.
Hello and welcome in the real Robert Rockwell.
Hi.
Yeah, but I think it's a great place. CrimeCon is a great place for families to connect with creators to get their stories out there for their loved ones. So I think it's an incredible way to share, but again, for me, and I think Nettie as well, like we get a little bit overwhelmed with our emotions, and also I get overwhelmed when I take in too much information. So yeah, but I do think it can be a very great place. Also, just a quick before I came on here, I was listening to the 7th episode.
I saw it posted and I didn't get to watch it yet. Yeah.
The 7th episode of the Menendez brothers stuff.
Yeah.
Whew, 7 episodes, and there's still more information on all of that than even has been put out there. So kind of crazy.
I have homework. I got to go back and watch it. I got homework.
Shaco, for some reason, I could really envision you playing the clown. Just don't go to CrimeCon like that, but
yeah,
I could absolutely envision you playing the clown.
Yeah.
So next week, I don't know if we're doing true crime or haunted yet, but we'll let you guys know. We'll just surprise you. How about that?
Yeah, we'll surprise you.
And as always, if you guys have a haunting or a crime story that you want us to dig into and kind of have a discussion on here about, don't hesitate to message Nettie or I, and we'll look into the things that you guys are mentioning.
Yeah, we would love to cover, like BB said, anything that you are wanting more information on that we probably don't even know what's going on, surprise.
Surprise show sounds fun.
Yeah. And we do have more updates that also. I have to see how many more updates that we may have that will be coming in the near future that we've covered.
Yeah, we've done some cases so Nettie and I think we said 3 or 4 years we've been doing the show now.
Went back and I looked, and we're having an anniversary coming up in September. So maybe we should do an anniversary show, and it's going to be 4. Years.
I think that would be incredible, an anniversary show. But if you think about it, 4 years of content, we've covered true crime and
Mhm.
paranormal.
Yep.
So going back those 4 years and kind of just seeing where cases are that we covered 4 years ago and giving you guys the updates now is it's kind of fun to do. I really
Yeah.
like finding out where things are.
Mhm.
There's a ghost of my children when they leave each weekend. The whole apartment is a mess.
That's funny.
That's funny. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us this
Mhm.
week. It has been fun. We will catch you guys next week. I hope you have an amazing week ahead of you. Try to do something fun.
Yes. And we always love our Sunday fun days. Yeah, I see
Sunday fun
Shaco.
day. Shaco, you know what? I have no doubt that you got yourself filtered. I have no doubt. I still wonder whatever came out
Oh,
about the camping couple that were killed around the same time as Gabby.
yeah.
Maybe I've already covered this one.
I
So
don't
is
think
that the older couple or was there a couple that was actually killed? Because there was an older couple that went missing and it turned out that he had some health issues, but they had gotten themselves stuck like kind of up in the mountain
Yeah,
area.
that's when you're talking about with Danny D, right? Where he
Yeah, with
helped.
Heavy D went and helped get that
Yeah.
out. But I don't know about a murdered couple. Maybe we look into that.
Yeah. See if I can find some information.
Shaco, I actually just went over I just watched a case of a teenage girl that got mad at her dad because he wouldn't take her to get her hair done. He was an alcoholic. He was always drunk and he couldn't drive. But she was supposed to go get her hair done because it was her 18th birthday and she was having an 18th birthday party. And he didn't take her to get her hair done. So when he passed out drunk on the couch, she threw lye on him. And it
No.
And then he ended up 5 months in the hospital, rehab, lost his legs, da, da, da. Then he ended up passing away. She got no jail time. She got out. She got out.
Mm.
And I don't know. That case, maybe we talk about that because that blew my mind knowing that she didn't go to jail for that. I mean, she did some jail time. I shouldn't have said no jail time, but she didn't spend like years in prison.
Yeah, that's just nuts. They're saying it's a younger couple,
Younger
partners.
couple. I'll have to look into that, see if we can find
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Were they in the same kind of area as Gabby? Before his time? Yeah.
And I don't think, yeah, it doesn't sound familiar that we covered it. So we definitely are interested.
Yeah, we'll look that up.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Nettie will kind of chit chat and figure out what we're going to do for next week, but we'll look into that because
Yeah.
I think there was a couple of things going on at that same time as the Gabby thing, which the Gabby case was wild in itself. We did cover that and we haven't done an update on that one. So
Yeah.
I think they had seen Gabby at a restaurant. Oh, I think I remember this a little bit. I think I remember this. We'll look. We'll look.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm reading both the YouTube side and the StreamYard side because I can see Shaco retracting some of his
Oh.
statements. And I'm like, I want the good stuff. What did you retract, Shaco?
That's
All right.
hilarious.
Well, I hope you all have an amazing week. We will see you back here next Sunday at 5 p.m. Central
Yep.
Standard Time. Thank you guys as always. I said bad things.
Yeah. We can
Wishing
always
you all
count on you, Shaco.
yes, we can. Wishing you all much kindness and much love.
And we're sending love your way. Good night.
Good night, everyone. I don't know how to work it. Hold on.